If you didn't catch the movie's 2025 Super Bowl teaser, the live-action Lilo and Stitch remake will hit theaters on May 23rd, 2025. What else do we know about the remake? In her first on-screen starring role, Maia Kealoha leads the cast as Lilo. Pi and Chris Sanders, the brains behind the original film, will reprise his role as Stitch. Meanwhile, on my block, Sydney Agudong will play Nanny, Lilo's big sister and legal guardian, and will be courted by the surfer David, played by Magnum PI's Count Dudoe, who's also the grandson of Nanny and Lilo's neighbor, Tutu. A new character in the cast, Tutu, will be played by Amy Hill, who previously played Mrs. Hisagawa in the original animated feature. Another new character is Mrs. Kealoha, a social worker charged with monitoring Lilo and Nanny. Mrs. Kealoha will be played by Tia Carrere, the original voice of Nanny in 2002's Lilo and Stitch. And let's not forget Cobra Bubbles, played by American Crime Story's Courtney B. Cobra Bubbles was the original social worker in the animated film. Meanwhile, comedian Zach Galifianakis is also in the cast as Dr. Jumba Jacaba, who created Stitch in a lab, and he'll be partnered with Billy Magnuson as Pleakley, a Ponari and alien Earth expert who works for the United Galactic Federation. Last but not least, it's confirmed via Lilo and Stitch's IMDb page that Hannah Wingham will play the Grand Councilwoman. She's the one who commands Jumba and Pleakley to retrieve Stitch. Curiously, the character of Captain Gantu is not in the cast. This brings us to our next topic. It's currently unknown how much of the original story will be adopted for the remake, but it's expected to retain the core premise. The genetically engineered Stitch arrives on Earth to cause havoc and evade galactic authorities until he finds a new family in Lilo and Nanny. However, with Captain Gantu missing from the film, it's likely that another alien in the cast will take his place as the arrogant villain. The live-action remake could also include Experiment 221, aka Sparky, from Stitch, the movie. After all, though the movie is based on Chris Sanders' original, Sanders himself didn't pen the script. Instead of Sanders and Dean DeBlois, the screenplay for the remake was co-written by Chris Kikoa Kalani Bry and Mike Van Ways. While the live-action Lilo and Stitch is the first full-feature script written by Bry, Van Ways notably penned the 2023 thriller Dear David. Meanwhile, the movie is directed by Dean Fleerkamp, co-creator and director of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. And while Sanders has relinquished his post as writer and director, his involvement as the voice of Stitch indicates that the remake will be an improvement upon the original movie. The trailer is fun, but it doesn't reveal any real clues about what to expect. So, what kind of changes to the plot do you expect to see in a live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and keep watching Movie Recap Pro.